Hey guys, welcome back to this week's worth of YouTube videos for being online and doing school stuff. Now I want to make sure that you guys understand that when I write on the board here, this is a video for general science, okay, or the integrated science class for the 6th grade through the 8th grade. Some of you last week watched the high school one and sent me the work and stuff from the high school one. These are different subjects, different videos. Please don't get them confused, okay? So what I would like to do today is I want to talk more about birds. We did a bird discussion last week about the eggs. We did about a discussion of what birds are and their characteristics. Today I'd like to talk about particular types of birds that you might see around Utah and around your yard and stuff right now. Springtime is the best time to look for birds. But before we do that, I wanted to do a quick review on taxonomy. Okay, we talked about this in class and the different ways that scientists classify different animals. So when they find a new species of animals, they do this taxonomy system where they place them in certain categories, and then at the very end of the category they have a scientific name for that animal. And all scientific names for an animal or a plant, anything living, is 2 names. Usually 2 names, can be a little bit more, but at least 2 names. So for example, humans, myself and you guys, we are Homo sapiens. That's our scientific name. That's our genus and our species. So just real quick, I wanted to go over all of these different categories. We have kingdom, we have the phylum, we have class, order, family, genus, and species. Now just keep in mind that when we are doing these scientific names, it's the genus and then the species. So that's why they're always at least two names, because of the genus and then the species. Okay? Now in this class, some of you have taken it before and you love this section. I know I do, but some of you really hate this section, and I totally get why. But we are going to be learning about the bird orders. So we're going to be halfway through this taxonomy section. And I'm going to talk to you about these different bird orders and their characteristics, and then give you some examples of them. And then there'll be an assignment on your School Masters that you can do with this particular assignment, or with this video, okay? So we're going to try and make this as sweet and short as possible, so you're not stuck here looking at me on YouTube for too long, okay? So the first bird order that we're going to talk about is one of my favorites, and it is Galliformes. Now you will notice that with 95% of these bird orders that we're going to be talking about, they always end in the word formes. So all you really have to remember is that first part. Okay, so Galliformes. That's this particular bird order. And I apologize, I can see on my screen here that this is a little bit blurry on the video, so I will try and do my best to spell these out for you if I can remember that, okay? So this is Galliformes, Galliformes. Now, under here, I'm going to give you some descriptions of these types of birds, and then over here, I'm going to give you some examples. So right now, I want to just tell you the characteristics. So first things first, there are 214 species in this bird order. So that's a lot of bird species. So for example, if you're outside and you see a bird, that bird has a bird species. That is a species of bird. So in this order, there are 214 different species. Sometimes you will notice that these birds are stocky. They have stocky bodies. They're very built. They look fat in a way, and that's because they don't fly very well. Okay, they can fly. They have wings. They have feathers. They can get off the ground, but they tend to be more terrestrial and to stay on the ground. They like to run around and eat things down there. They even nest on the ground. And so that gives us another characteristic, is that they have strong legs. These are extremely fast runners. Those are kind of like little baby Tyrannosaurus rexes. Very small wings or small arms, and they run around really fast with their feet. They're pretty cool. They have small heads. Okay, small heads. And they're known as game birds. Not because you want to play chess with them or Uno, but because a long time ago people would go hunting and they would like to hunt these birds because it was like a game for them. They run around and it's hard to shoot them. Also, they're really good with meat, so that's why they're so big, is they have a lot of meat on their body, so that's why people would go and hunt them. Now, over here I'm going to put a star. This star represents the examples that we might see with these particular, whoops, I dropped my lid, particular bird orders. So here's some of the examples. Obviously, the first one is going to be chicken. Okay, chickens are in this bird order. All chickens will fall in Galliformes. Okay, same thing with quail. Quail fall in this particular category as well. Pheasants. Pheasants fall in this, and grouse. Now the reason why I use these 4 different examples is because you can find all of these examples here in Utah. They're outside, you can see them in the mountains, there's a lot of them around, okay? Now if you take a look at any of these examples, you will see that they all have stocky bodies. They all like to run on the ground. They all have strong legs. All of these all of these examples here. One thing that I want to try and do with you guys is help you remember these names because they are kind of hard names to remember. Galliformes. How are you going to remember that Galliformes are chickens, quails, pheasants, and grouse? And how I do it, now you don't have to use my method. This is how I do it. So I raise chickens. A lot of you know that because we try and bring chicken eggs to school every year to hatch them, which is kind of exciting and fun. We're obviously not doing that this year. Excuse me. But how I remember it is those chicken eggs have to come from a girl chicken, right? Or a gal, okay? A gal or a girl chicken, so Galliformes will always point me back to chickens because I have girl chickens, so gal, girl chickens, okay? So I'm going to erase this, and then we're going to be talking about another bird order. The next bird order that I want to talk about is Anseriformes. Now again, it ends in formes, so you spell it by spelling out these letters: A-N-S-E-R-I-F-O-R-M-E-S. Anseriformes, they are very large birds. You won't necessarily see these flying around and perching in your tree in the mornings, okay? They're very heavy-bodied, big birds. They are also very powerful flyers. They can fly really, really well, really, really fast, and over long distances. This makes them very different than Galliformes. Galliformes can take flight for very short distances, and Anseriformes can fly very, very, very far, very, very fast, which is why a lot of people hunt these guys as well, because it's kind of a sport for them, and they have a lot of meat. Excuse me. There are over 161 species in this particular bird order. So a little bit less than Galliformes, but still high up there. A characteristic these guys have is they have a very wide and round beak. And when we talk about these birds, we don't necessarily say beak, we say bill, which gives you a clue as to what kinds of birds these might be. One other characteristic that's going to make you know instantly what examples would be in this bird order is that they have webbed feet. You see these all the time on lakes and rivers. They're swimming around. They can go quite fast with how they pedal. Some of them can dive under the water with their specialized feet. They have very slick feathers that are kind of oily, and that's to keep them water resistant. So some examples that we might put into this category are obviously ducks, geese, and swans. Ducks, geese, and swans are the ones that fall in this category. You can find all of these here in Utah as well. Now, the way I remember this particular bird order, I just think of the word answer, okay? So I always think, what's the hardest bird order for me to remember? The answer is Anseriformes, okay? So if ever I'm struggling with whatever bird I'm looking at over here, I think, oh man, I can't remember that bird order. It's a hard answer for me to remember. So I think of it as Anseriformes, ducks, geese, and swans. All right, so let's keep going. We've got 2 more bird orders that we're going to talk about today. Going through this as quickly as possible so you don't have to sit here and listen to me all day. The next one we're going to talk about is Piciformes. Piciformes, easy to remember. Okay, again, it ends in formes. Just think of the word pick. Okay, pick. Some of the characteristics of this particular bird is they have strong necks and heads. And this is because they are known to perch on a tree and they peck, or they pick at wood on a tree, and they make little holes. Okay, we all know what kind of birds those are, and we'll talk about them over here in a minute. But if they didn't have a strong neck and they didn't have strong heads and bills or beaks, they wouldn't be able to do that, and it would cause damage. So they have been evolved to have those strong necks and those strong heads. Another cool characteristic is that their foot shape, so I'm going to put over here their foot shape, is like an X. And the reason why this is they're shaped like this is because if this was a tree trunk, okay, a little branch with a leaf coming off here, so we know it's a tree. If they were to perch over here, and this is their leg, their front 2 toes go out like this to kind of grab on, like you're holding onto a monkey bar or something. And then your other 2 toes would come back this way, and that kind of braces them. So they can grab and then they can brace against the tree. And as they do that, as they grab and they brace, they're able to hold on to the tree while they're doing their work, while they're getting their food, or while they're digging, making that hole for a nest, or whatever it is that they're doing. So it's one of the characteristics of Piciformes. It's kind of cool. They usually eat insects. All right, that's why they're digging into a tree to try and get the little grubs or little insects that are underneath the bark. Now, not all of these particular birds in this order will peck through wood. Some of them will be on the ground, and they'll peck into the ground to get bugs and nutrients or whatever it is that they're looking for. But for here in Utah, I want you guys to remember that they're in trees, okay, because they're the easiest ones to see out here. Now, over here, I'm going to give you some examples. In fact, I'm just going to give you one example. And that is that these guys are woodpeckers. Okay? They make that iconic sound when they're pecking on wood. You can hear it when you're in the forest. These are woodpeckers. They fall in Piciformes. So pick, peck. Okay? They peck at wood. That's how I remember that Piciformes are woodpeckers. Okay? We'll talk about one more, make this video wrap up here. The last one we're going to talk about is a hard one to remember, okay? Is Psittaciformes. Now it's spelled Psittaciformes. Psittaciformes. Now I say it with the P being silent. It's just how I was taught. I'm sure that there are other ways to say it as well. Psittaciformes have curved beaks. Okay, now when I say curved beaks, I mean that the top part of their beak is like this, and it folds over the other top, the bottom of their beak. So they kind of have a mouth like this. Now, a lot of birds have these. Owls and hawks and falcons have these, but they eat a very different type of food. The reason why I say curved beaks is because these curved beaks, they are specialized for cracking open nuts. Okay? Nuts and fruits. These guys are vegetarian. So they eat nuts, fruits, and veggies. Okay? Now, their beaks are extremely powerful. In fact, these birds are commonly seen in pet stores and by pet breeders. You do not want to stick your finger in front of one of these birds when they're in a bad mood. They have been known, some of the bigger species have been known to completely sever your fingers off. They also have been known to chew through their metal bars in their bird cages. So they're very strong. But I want you to know that they don't eat meat. They're not biting your fingers to eat it. They're biting your fingers because they feel threatened, and it's a threat response, okay? These guys are very smart. They're some of the most intelligent birds on our planet. They have large brains. They can learn to mimic. They can learn to sing. They can have facial recognition, meaning they can recognize my face, they can recognize your face, and separate the two and know that I'm Jason and you're the student or whomever's watching, right? They're very smart in that respect, which is why they're so famous and popular in pet trade, because they can mimic whatever it is that you are doing. Something else is they are very long-lived. These birds, some of the larger species, have been known to live over 100 years, which is crazy. That's a long time. That's sometimes longer than people live. So when people get these as pets, sometimes these pets will outlive their owners, right? Which is kind of sad because these birds are monogamous, meaning that they only have one mate, or they click with one individual. So when a baby bird imprints and clicks with a person and then that person dies, these birds can go into a depressive state and sometimes pluck their feathers, and they get depressed because their mate or their companion is not with them. It's kind of sad. So over here on the corner, I'm going to also give you your examples. These are obviously parrots and macaws. Okay, parrots and macaws. If you don't know what a macaw is, think of the movie Rio. That's all about a particular type of macaw. All right. So if you have any questions on any of these bird species or bird orders, please let me know. The way that I remember the psittaciformes is I watched a video or a movie when I was little about a parrot called Polly. I think the movie is called Polly. And in the movie, the parrot goes like, you say taco, I say taco, 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 taco. So I think psittaco or psittaca as parrots. So that's how I remember it. You can remember it however you want. It is one of the harder ones that students try to remember because it's so odd. But if you can see the movie Polly, you'll know what I'm referring to, and hopefully that'll help you. So what I'm going to do, guys, is on your Schoolmaster program, I am going to put up your assignment. It's a quiz. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to have the scientific name of multiple birds. In fact, 10. 10 birds. I'm going to give you the scientific name, and all you have to do is you have to find the common name of that bird and tell me what bird order they're in. You can type it on a computer, you can write it on paper and send a picture to me through email, or however it is that you turn your assignments into me, whichever way is easier for you. If you have questions, please make sure to contact me, email me, whatever you need to do, and good luck.